like a cordless mouse on my
Does it
desktop.
show it's recording on your end?
Yeah,
and that
Perfect.
was a bad time. So then, like, for an early birthday-ish present, Kay got us a nice corded mouse, and it works like a dream. So
beautiful, amazing,
yeah,
immaculate.
yeah. exactly.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, happy Easter, right?
When is Easter?
It's Sunday.
This coming up Sunday?
Yeah, so I guess this is not Happy Easter then, right? This one's not?
Palm Sunday was just yesterday.
No, but but this episode will come out when?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, so not Easter.
I don't know. It just depends on how long it takes to edit. We'll see.
Okay. Well, happy Easter, maybe.
Happy Easter, maybe. If not, whatever.
Belated Easter.
Yeah, it's fine. Hello, everybody. It is a rainy day here. Is it rainy for you?
It is raining. It was earlier, but the sun's going down now, so it still looks kind of
dreary,
dark. Yeah.
Angel and I still have not been able to see each other. We are doing this remotely yet again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's safe to assume, unless we say otherwise, that we will be remotely podcasting
probably
until
for a while.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
It's going to go on for a while.
It's mostly because it doesn't really affect our process. It's honestly just more sad that I can't see you.
Yeah. We can't hang out in person.
Yeah.
I just watched
so much activities we could do, but we're not going to be able to do any of that.
Yeah. I just watched the dog drop her ball into the cup holder in the couch. And then she looked so sad.
She was like, how dare I do that to myself? And
if you hear bouncing of ball in the background, that was because the ball was thrown. It gives nice ambiance.
It gives nice, I'm in your home ambiance.
I love my puppos. You go first with the spook, or I go first with the news?
I think we've been doing spook first, right?
Okay.
Well,
yeah.
We gotta tell the people what's been going on.
Oh. Yeah, I guess that's true.
It's been, a little bit of time. I mean, nothing much has changed. How about you?
No. Although, at my current place of employment, the maintenance men are quote-unquote working from home. And don't ask me how that works, because I don't know.
They like will it in their minds. They're like, I must fix AC. And then it just like fixes itself or something. Like, how does that work?
I guess. I have no idea.
I guess that's fine. I just heard your phone. I'm keeping that in.
Sorry.
I'm literally keeping it in.
Well, it was you, so...
I haven't done anything.
You just sent me a Snapchat.
No, I didn't. My phone is nowhere near me.
I am looking at this Snapchat right now.
Your cell service in the boonies sucks ass, because I absolutely sent that like 5 minutes ago.
Oh, well, I just got it.
I swear to God.
I'm keeping that in. I live in the Boondocks. Great.
The unmistakable like sound of the Snapchat ding. Jesus.
I've muted my phone after I just smacked my hand on the microphone. So sorry. Yes, my phone is muted now. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. We love you.
Yeah, I know you do.
Nothing's really different. I'm still working from home. That's about it. I haven't left the house still.
Are you feeling cabin fevered?
No, because like I used to work from home, and the biggest thing that I'm struggling with is not being able to see like you or my other friends, my brother, stuff like that. Like it's starting to weigh on me that way, but we still live in an age where FaceTime's a thing, calling, we play video games together. Like I'm good. Like for the most part, I don't really I'm not feeling that weird, and I feel like this is going to go on for a lot longer than people think. I think that this is going to probably go on for another month or two at least, where we're going to be stuck in quarantine.
Oh, my boss seems to think that we are in this until like September, October. So we're in it for the long haul.
Which is understandable because, like, we really don't know how long this is going to be, and that's fine. No one's going anywhere. We can still hang out in virtual spaces. Honestly, though, it's not that weird if we have to not see each other for that long. Like, yes, it will suck and it'll be sad, but if it prevents either of us from getting sick, prevents other people from getting sick, whatever the case may be, it is safer this way. We will see each other. Me and you play Overwatch together. I FaceTime my friends. I've been playing Animal Crossing with my friends. We'll be okay. At the end of the day, if social distancing for months and months at a time is what we need to survive, then it is what it is. So
Yeah,
I
no,
just like got on like my high horse, but
that's okay. That's fine.
I'm
No,
just
I
tired of
feel you.
people being like, "Oh my god, I need to hang out with my friends because I miss them." Okay, FaceTime them, Skype them, Discord message. Like there's so many other avenues, and you seeing your friends is making this time so much longer because you guys are there's so many people. I don't know if you've heard this, but there's people with corona that are carriers and they don't even know that they have it and they never show symptoms of it. They're exposing themselves to people that can get it and will get symptoms, but the person that gave it to you never had symptoms. So at this point I'm just like, I'm home, I'm not doing anything. I'll be okay. It's fine. We'll make it through this.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I had to let EMTs into my building the other day who, when I was like, have you been in contact? They were like, we transport potential cases
All the
at
time.
least
Literally
once a
all
day.
day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's very likely, but there's no way to know for sure. And like you said, people could be carriers without ever showing a single symptom for the rest of their life. So it's very, very interesting and kind of nerve-wracking time we live in. Hmm.
Luckily, like I said, we're in a digital age where it should not affect us nearly as much as it has ever affected the human race. I'm still able to talk to my friends, still able to talk to my brother, still able to be with my partner, be able to. I still have a job that I'm still very grateful for. Yeah, like it's a lot, but stay safe, everyone. We'll keep updating. Nothing's really changed for me. I'm doing the exact same thing,
And
working.
I'll drink to that. I'm drinking some Apothic wine right now.
I am drinking some wine as well.
Yes, very good.
Some good Target wine.
Yes, queen.
I am the fanciest. Yeah, Eric has braved the elements and has been going to the grocery store for me because he knows that I have respiratory issues, so he's been going for me. He felt bad because he was like, I went to go pick up wine. He's like, I didn't want them to think it was weird that I was coming to Target only for wine, so I got some other stuff too.
I think right now, if somebody goes to the store and only picks up wine, I'd be like, yeah, same, man,
I mean,
same.
he had to go there for a couple of things anyway, but it just looked like a weird assortment of things where it definitely didn't look like a necessity, but it absolutely was a necessity. And he just happened to get wine while he was there, because why not? We got some food and stuff, because I don't know if it's just I've never noticed how much I eat or what. I have no idea, but I feel like I eat more in quarantine than I ever have, but I feel like that can't be true.
No, if I ever get weirded out about like things that I buy, like when I want a bunch of snacks and it's just me, I also buy like a small thing of pads because then I know that whoever's on the other side,
It's like,
regardless of
ah, she's
gender,
on
they'll
her
be like,
period.
yeah, exactly. They'll be like, oh, I understand.
Yeah, you gotta go out to buy. For the most part, I really haven't gone out, and we've gotten food maybe once every like 2 weeks. So
I
just
was at
enough.
Publix earlier today.
You went to
That was
Publix
an
today?
experience. Well, I had to
Wait, you're
because
working. I just realized. You're
yeah,
working outside of the house. Never mind.
right. I know I had to go to the store in part because wife needed her meds.
Yeah,
So I stopped off at the store to pick up meds and I was looking for a thermometer and it didn't occur to me like right away that the
it's impossible to
thermometer
find.
they're impossible to find. Like it didn't occur to me that that would be the case until I got there and they were like, "Yeah, no, we're sold out." And I was like, "Oh, that makes sense." Everybody's sold out of a thermometer right now. So anyway, so I picked up some other things that we like. I don't know. We didn't need them. Like Briar's is
Yeah,
buy
but if
one
you're
get
already
one.
at at Publix to get
Yeah,
medication, you might as well
yeah,
get other stuff while you're there because you're already exposing yourself, so you might as well get the stuff you need.
exactly. So tell me a story.
Okay. That was a seamless transition.
You know me, the queen of theme.
The queen of seam. I don't like any of that.
Oh man.
Are you
So
ready for
tell
the
me a story.
spooks and the paranormal?
I
It's not
was
even
born
spooky.
ready.
It's just giving you details about this place that I found pretty interesting.
Oh sure. Well,
So,
tell me a story. I was born ready.
the house is called the Winchester Mystery House.
Yes. I
What do you
actually know a
you
little
know a
bit
little bit?
about this. I've
Okay.
heard of it. Em and Christine from And That's Why I Drink did or Em did a story about
I'll
this.
have to re-listen to it. I did not listen to it before I made my notes, but I wouldn't be surprised because it's not famous. It's super super famous and super weird. So the Winchester Mystery House is a mansion in San Jose, California. It was once of personal residence to Sarah Winchester, who was a widow of the firearm magnate William Winchester. Yes, that was his middle name. Terrible middle name. We're going to skip
I'm sorry, like a wart, like an abnormal.
Wirt. Wirt.
Ew. Wart.
Wirt.
Ew. What a poor
Yeah, isn't
guy.
it gross?
His parents must have hated him.
His parents were like, William Wirt Winchester, the triple W.
Oh no, poor guy.
This guy had no chance. So, it is located at 525 South Winchester Boulevard in San Jose. The style of the house is Queen Anne style, Victorian, so it's kind of massive. it's it's very very big. Its architectural curiosities and its lack of any master building plan at all. It is just a nightmare. It is a designated California historical landmark and is listed under the National Register of Historic Places. It is privately owned now, but it is a tourist attraction now. So it started construction in 1884, and the property of the
This is the
mansion.
one with like a billion rooms, right? And like
Oh
they
yeah,
just keep building. Okay,
like
okay, okay.
way too
I don't
many
want to like
rooms. Like
right. I'm not gonna.
absolutely way too many rooms.
I don't want to steal your. I don't want to steal your thunder here, but I just remembered
Like
the little
random
bit
things.
where. Yes, I just remembered the little bit where like she kept building onto the house.
Yeah, for no reason. So, since its construction in 1884, the property and the mansion were claimed by many people to be haunted by ghosts of people that were killed by the Winchester rifles. So, essentially, this person is the person that made Winchester rifles. Under Winchester's day to day stuff, it's from the ground up construction proceeded literally around the clock, by some accounts, without any interruption until her death on September 5th, 1922. At
That's a long
which
time to hold your
that's a
pee.
long time. Oh my god. From literally 1884 to 1992, they were just building this house. Literally, as soon as she died, they stopped working on this house. So,
Yeah,
uh,
I don't blame them either. I'd really have to pee.
they gotta go. Sarah Winchester's biographer said that she routinely dismissed workers for months at a time to take such rest as she would, and notes that, this flies in the face of claims by today's mystery house proprietors that work at the ranch was ceaseless for 38 years because she was like that. She just was like, you're gonna keep working until this is done, and then she died. So as soon as she died, they were like, oh, thank God, I don't have to do this anymore. So that's great. So we're gonna rewind. So after her husband's death from tuberculosis in 1881, Sarah Winchester literally inherited more than $20.5 million, which equivalent now is $543 million.
Holy crap.
She also received 50% ownership of the Winchester Repeating Arms Company, which roughly gave her $1,000 per day, which is equivalent today to $26,000 a day.
Oh my
So
god.
she was
If
fine.
only I could have that much money.
Exactly. These gave her a lot of wealth that she used to keep the construction going. So, after her infant daughter died of an illness known as marasmus, I looked up the pronunciation. Hopefully, I said it correctly. It is a disease in which, like, your body just kind of wastes away. You look really, like, ill. You look malnourished. And I guess her daughter died from it. Her husband died of pulmonary tuberculosis. And a Boston medium told her, which supposedly she was channeling her late husband, said that she should leave her home in New Haven and travel west, where she must continuously build a home for herself and the spirits of people who had fallen victim to the rifles that they were creating. So, she left New Haven, which I'm from Connecticut. I don't know if I've ever told you that. I was born in
Oh yeah, you
Connecticut.
have.
But yeah, I don't blame her for wanting to leave Connecticut. Sorry, y'all. And she headed for California. You know, it's possible she was simply
Which,
just
like, in my opinion, California isn't that much better, but I digress.
I think at this time it probably was, but
I
it
don't know.
really
I
just
visited
depends.
California
In
one
the
time.
1800s.
No. Yes. I visited California when my brother was stationed out there one time, and honestly, if I never go back, I'll miss Knott's Berry Farm, but that's probably about it.
I went
Like, the
once.
Universal out there is not as exciting. The Disney out there is not as exciting.
I loved the Disney out there. That's why I went to Anaheim with a friend. Thank you also the friend that brought me to, to Anaheim, but it was amazing. I had so much fun when I was there. I didn't like
Yeah,
Los Angeles, but I liked the Disneyland.
I had an interesting time in Hollywood. I walked all the way up and
I did
down
not
the
do that. I feel like I wouldn't have liked that.
I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
The atmosphere out there. The way you said it. Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
I muted myself so that because the dog is over here
Oh.
with the ball, and then so you were like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Oh, I have to respond."
You went, yeah. She, you know, she thought she had to continuously build this home. So she left New Haven, went to California, and although it is possible that she simply just wanted to move and, you know, a change of scenery because, you know, she was dealing with all these things, because she was super, super depressed, she came to believe that her family and fortune were kind of haunted by ghosts, and that she really thought that moving was the only way to really appease these spirits. So she literally did. And in 1884, she purchased an unfinished farmhouse in the Santa Clara Valley and began building her mansion. Carpenters were hired and worked on the house day and night until it became a 7-story mansion. 7 stories.
Yikes! Yikes!
That's a hotel, madame.
I grew up in a 2-story house, and that is like even still in my mind's eye pretty massive. So I can't imagine 7 stories.
7.
That is a hotel.
She doesn't have anybody anymore. She just has 7 stories. She's just like, wow, I'm all alone. You know what will really fill my heart up? 7
7
stories.
stories. Yeah, really.
It's just very
Oh, geez.
strange.
How many bathrooms?
Oh, I'm not there yet, but don't worry. Don't worry,
Okay.
it comes up.
You always got to know like where the bathrooms are. That's like my number one priority.
They worked all the time, and she did not use an architect and just kept adding on to the building in some terrible ways where she was just like, I want a room. People.
She was like, I want a room over there.
And
I don't care how it happens, just do it.
She literally did not care. She just kept hiring different people to add on to this house, so it's just like weird. So the home,
that is so weird. That would not fly
because
today.
of that. The home contained weird doors and stairs that go nowhere, literally nowhere, and windows overlooking other rooms, stairs with weird steps. A lot of these accounts of why it looks like this is she believes, or people believe that she believed in ghosts and that it would like confuse them because they don't know where like the actual doors are. But like, oh god. So anyways,
but if I was a ghost, I'd just kind of like float up and look at like the
be
overhead.
like, wow, this bitch crazy, and just keep going to like the next room. Like it wouldn't confuse me. I would just be like, that's weird, and then just keep going.
Well, I guess it depends on how you believe ghosts move.
I don't think
just
that
go through the wall.
But yeah, so environmental psychologists have kind of theorized that the odd layout itself kind of contributes to why the house feels as creepy as it does, is because you walk around and you're like, why is that like this? So it kind of gives
even without any ghosts, you're like, I'm lost.
It just gives you an unsettling feeling because of that. Man. Because it's just like, ew, who did this? Essentially. Also, there was an earthquake in the middle of construction. It was the 1906 earthquake, and the house had been 7 stories high. And the carpenters may have been brought in initially to repair damages caused by the earthquake, but as of today, it is only 4 stories. I'm not sure if it just like got knocked down or what.
There's 4 stories on top and 3 stories underground.
Is that what it is?
No, I'm making it up.
Oh, I was very confused. I was like, I didn't find any of that in my notes, in my research. I didn't know that.
I was just like imagining like the earthquake making it fall
imagine a
into the
basement in
ground.
California where there's earthquakes and it could cave in.
Oh no, don't tell me that.
That's
Oh
like how it is
no.
here. Like we don't have basements in Florida because we would drown.
Yeah, basically. Nope,
It's
I
not
don't
a good
like that idea.
time.
I don't like that idea.
So, yes, the house is only 4 stories now. Only. Listen to me.
Only 4 stories.
The house
And to the left, you'll see my other 8-story mansion, but this is my
This is my
only my
four-story
4-story
home, and
mansion.
my cars are all outside. Do
Oh
you
my
see
god.
the housekeeper? I can't even imagine owning a house that's 4 stories. Also, it seems unnecessary,
Literally,
but you know,
like I said, I grew up in a 2-story house and like just me and my wife and our dogs, like that seems like way too big. I can't imagine like one person having a 7-story and then a 4-story house.
she obviously was a person that didn't care and just was like, I have money, what do I do with it? You know?
Yeah, I guess so.
The house is predominantly made of redwood. As Mrs. Winchester preferred the wood, however, she disliked the look of it because she's weird. What is
Wait,
that?
what? She
She
preferred
preferred
it?
wood, but she disliked the look of it.
What does that mean?
So she liked it for, I guess, like not aesthetic reasons. She just liked that there was wood in the house, but she painted it. So she
Oh.
literally demanded that a faux grain and stain be applied to anything. This is why almost all of the wood in the home is literally covered. Approximately 20,000 US gallons of paint were required to paint the entire house because this bitch crazy. Who does this? That's
Because
so much so much
it's
paint.
so much paint. I have to look up redwood. It can't be that bad. I'm gonna
It's
look it up.
not. It's definitely not. The home itself is built using a floating foundation that is believed to have saved it from the total collapse in 1906, like the earthquake.
Mhm.
And it is also believed that it was why it survived the 1989 Loma Prieta earthquake. The type of construction kind of allows the home to shift freely as it's not completely attached to its base. So, are you ready to get into the rooms?
I am so ready. Tell me how many bathrooms I have.
Okay. There is. Oh, I don't. Is it doesn't. What? It's not listed in here? I'm terrible. Okay. There's a roughly 161 rooms, including 40 bedrooms, 2 ballrooms, one is completed, one is not, as well as 47 fireplaces, over 10,000 panes of glass, 17 chimneys, with evidence that there's 2 more, 2 basement levels, and 3 elevators.
So my 3 floors underneath was not that far off.
I guess not. The entire property is about 162 acres at one time, but the estate has been reduced to about 4.5. So it was very big at one point, but because, time and people buying land, it has gotten smaller and smaller.
I'm trying to imagine how many chimneys did you say?
17.
I'm trying to imagine a building at all
That
with
needs
that
17
many
chimneys. Yeah, I don't
chimneys,
know.
and it just looks comical in my mind's
It doesn't
eye.
need that many chimneys. You don't need
Like,
that much heat. It's California.
right, but I'm just like try with me to imagine like what that looks like. It in
Probably looks
my
like a
head
transformer.
it looks so comical, like a cartoon or something. I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, it's like a
I'm
kid's
just a I'm
imagination drawing where the house like walks and has legs and 17 fucking
right.
chimneys
I
on
was
it for no
literally about
reason.
to say I'm like imagining some type
Like
of like
Howl's
Howl's
Moving
Moving
Yeah, yeah,
Castle.
yeah.
Thank
With
you.
way
Thank
too
you.
many fucking chimneys for no reason. Yeah. This lady was like, you know what this needs? I need 47 fireplaces. This place is just not warm enough for my liking. No, lady, you're the only one in this house. No one gives a shit.
And it's in which part of California?
San Jose.
So South California,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So definitely not cold enough for that
I
many
mean, it gets
chimneys.
cold in California, but not to that extent where you need 47 fucking fireplaces. It is smaller now. It has gold and silver chandeliers, hand inlay parquet floors and trim. Parquet, 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 parquet.
Parquet
Can you
or
look it up?
parquet? Okay, sure. Spell it.
Parquet. I think it's
P A
parquet.
R. Quet. Audio.
Parquet.
Parquet.
I
You are
heard
correct.
it.
You heard it.
I heard it through your headset. Okay. So it has gold and silver chandeliers, hand inlaid parquet floors and trim, and a lot of colors and materials throughout the entire house because it was just made by so many different people. So, also, she had debilitating arthritis, so she had special easy riser stairways that were installed as a replacement for like the original stairs because she couldn't walk upstairs very easily. So this kind of allowed her to move like about, the home pretty freely, and she was only able to raise her feet up only a couple of inches. There was only one working toilet for her. It was
Excuse me.
one
All
toilet
of
for
that, and there's only one. Nope.
one toilet.
I'm selling the house. I don't care how many rooms. I don't care. No,
One toilet.
that's not enough
Uh,
bathrooms.
it has been said that all the other restrooms were decoys to confuse spirits, and that this is also the reason why she slept in a different room each night. So she literally only had one working bathroom in this whole fucking house, and she slept in a different room each night. You know how confused I'd be every time I woke up? There is
Literally.
161 rooms, 40 bedrooms, 40 bedrooms, and I'd wake up every day and be like, where am I? I would not
Oh man,
know.
if I'm in staying in like a hotel
I get
or in
confused.
somebody else's house, I like have trouble falling asleep. I cannot fall asleep in a different room every night.
I can't either. I get so confused. This bitch was trying to do it on purpose.
Oh man.
The home's conveniences were rare at the time of its construction, so this included steam and forced air heating, modern indoor toilets and plumbing, push button gas lights, and she also had a personal and only hot shower from indoor plumbing. She also had 3 elevators, including an Otis electric, and one of which was powered by a rare horizontal hydraulic elevator piston, which apparently was super rare and expensive. Most elevator pistons are vertical to save space, but she had it horizontal to improve functionality, which apparently wasn't like a common thing. It's interesting. She never really skimped on anything that she put in her house. She believed that it contributed to its architectural like beauty. She really loved the house. There's a lot of stained glass windows that were created by Pacific American Decorative Company. Some were designed for her, others by her. She also included this really cool spiderweb window that featured her favorite web design and the repetition of the number 13, which is really cool. I think I've showed you.
I'm gonna look it up.
I have a Friday the 13th tattoo.
Yes, I know that.
I think the number 13 and I think spider webs and stuff are interesting. But yeah, the window was never installed, but it exists in the so-called, like $25,000 storage room, which is named that because its contents were originally appraised at that value.
Oh wow.
The value today is not really like they can't guess, but they assume it's about 382,000.
Wow.
A second window was
That's
designed by
more money
Tiffany
than I'll see.
himself. Yeah, it's a lot. The
Yeah.
second window in that room was designed by Tiffany himself so that when sunlight strikes in it, it makes a rainbow across the entire room, and the window was installed in an interior wall in a room with no light exposure, preventing this effect from ever being noticed. Which, what the fuck?
Yeah, really. That's so
why
sad.
why make this gorgeous stained glass window and then put it in a room where no fucking sunlight ever gets shown? Oh, to be
Well,
rich.
it's like you said earlier, this bitch crazy.
She crazy. So when she died, all of her possessions aside from the house were bequeathed to her niece and personal secretary. Her niece then took everything she wanted and sold the rest in a private auction. It supposedly took 6 trucks working 8 hours a day for 6 weeks to remove all of the furniture from the home, and an account, that was disputed by Winchester's biographer multiple times, but Mrs. Winchester made no mention of the mansion in her will, and appraisers considered the house worthless due to the damage caused by the earthquake and the unfinished design and the impractical nature of its entire like being. They were like, "Oh god, someone please." Like they could not estimate like the house's worth because it was so fucking nightmarish. But
Wow.
it was sold at an auction to a local investor for over 135,000 and subsequently leased for 10 years to John and Maymay Brown, who eventually purchased the house. In February of 1923, 5 months after Winchester's death, the house was opened to the public, where Mrs. Brown served as a tour guide for the house. Today, it is owned by Winchester Investments, an LLC, a privately held company representing the descendants of Mr. and Mrs. Brown. The home retains a lot of unique touches that reflect Mrs. Winchester's beliefs and her reported, preoccupation with warding off spirits. The spirits are said to have directly inspired her as the way to the house being built, the number 13, the spider motifs, which carried spiritual significance for her, occur literally throughout the entire house. In 2016, there was a better shooting range game for some fucking reason.
Okay.
Probably because of
Does
the
it show
Winchester.
it's recording on your end?
Yeah, it does.
I was going to say
damn.
probably because of the
But it
guns
seems a
with
little
the
weird
Winchester.
to do that in there.
Well, I mean, California's a weird place. So.
It is. In 2017, the Winchester Mystery House debuted their first new daytime tour in 20 years. It's called the Explore More Tour. This tour takes guests through rooms never before open to the public and explores the rooms left unfinished at the time of Sarah Winchester's death.
That's a little eerie to me.
Yeah, now that's like rooms that haven't been looked at in years, right?
Yeah, and rooms that are just not finished, which for some reason, like unfinished buildings
are creepy, especially
old ones. I don't know like why it's so creepy to me, but to imagine it, I just remember that there's like this one building kind of by where my parents live that for a long time
it's just been unfinished.
It's literally just a shell, and for some reason whenever I drive past it to get to my parents' house, it is just unsettling almost to me. I don't know why unfinished buildings are so unsettling, but that would be super unsettling to me. I would 100% go, but it would be super unsettling.
Also the fact that things just lead to nowhere.
Yeah, that's
it's
part
like
of it.
It's like a terrible nightmare. Like your brain's trying to make sense of it, but there is no sense to make of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So the Winchester Mystery House is also featured twice in BuzzFeed Unsolved, if you've ever seen that. The most interesting fact that I saw, so I'm currently watching the season 1984 of American Horror Story. Apparently, the Winchester Mystery House is featured on the 100th episode, which is the 6th episode, I believe, of the season I'm in. And I'm only on episode 1. So I'm excited to get to it. And when I do, I will talk about the house again, briefly, if that's cool with you.
Sure, yeah.
But it's featured in American Horror Story. I'm super excited about it.
Interesting.
I love American
I've never
Horror Story.
gotten to watch American Horror Story. I know I'm behind the times.
It's so good, and there's a lot of historic stuff in especially with our likes in paranormal and ghosts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of actual facts about some of the places in American Horror Story that are true, and people. So if you actually watch some of the later episodes where they're talking about real people and real places, there are real places. I think one of the there's Hotel. I think Hotel is based on an actual hotel in California that a lot of people die at. There's a bunch of stuff. But
that's what we can do when we are on the phone having a movie night, a remote movie night.
It's really, really good. American Horror Story is written very well. It's very creepy. You get very attached to characters, but also
and then they die.
Yeah, then they die. But
yeah, that's kind of like watching Game of Thrones. So,
and I haven't watched Game of Thrones either.
But it's pretty good, except for like the last season. But we don't have to talk about that.
I'd love to watch it again, but there's definitely a lot of real facts in there too, of certain places, and they talk about places and houses. Like there's one season called Coven that talks about witchcraft and stuff, and some of the actual stuff that they talk about with witchcraft is true things about witchcraft, like certain spells. I don't know, just stuff like that they try to keep it as true as possible, but it's very interesting.
It sounds like it. I need to watch it. I know I do. You have told me, and so has many other people. So have many other people.
That is the story of the Winchester Mystery House.
How interesting.
I'm glad you thought so.
Yeah. No, really. I heard of it, but the details were fuzzy. But that's fun. I'd like to go visit it someday.
Me too.
Maybe one day if
It
this
would
gets
be.
popular and we do live shows, we can go visit.
I would love to see like the endless staircases. Like look it up. Like right now, look up because I was looking it up to see how it looks. Look
Mm-hmm.
up Winchester Mystery House and just start scrolling through pictures, and it starts automatically showing you like staircases that lead to nothing.
Well, there's like an aerial view, and you're just kind of like, what? That's a lot of space.
It is a lot of space. It kind of looks like a castle.
Yeah, it does. I'm looking at this one picture here that's like the Winchester Mystery House, but also Jensen Ackles and what's his name from
From
Supernatural?
Supernatural.
Yeah, Jared Padalecki. I don't know. I don't think they really. I don't know why, but it's like not. It's just like the mystery house behind it, and then like a smaller thumbnail of Jensen Ackles and Jared Padalecki in the bottom right corner, and I don't. It
Uh,
just is weird. Oh yeah, look at the staircase. It goes nowhere. That is kind of unsettling. Ooh, they decorate it for Christmas. You know how I love Christmas. There's like
yes.
this one door that opens to like
Nothing.
yeah, look at I mean, you've seen it. I'm looking at a picture here where there's like a door that opens to the outside, but it's like a drop off. Like if you
Yep.
walked out that door,
Die.
you'd probably die.
It's very interesting, isn't it?
That is so weird. Oh man, I'd love to go see it someday.
Me too. I think it'd be really interesting. So what do you got for me?
Oh yeah, okay. Let me get back to my kenotes.
Canoes.
Kenotes, you know, Knotes.
Okay.
Why did you make that sound?
I don't know. It felt right.
So I'm doing gaming news. Obviously, it's my week again to do gaming news. But when I was looking, like a lot of news just is like, oh, this canceled because of coronavirus, and this is canceled because of coronavirus, and I don't know. There wasn't like anything really new. Well, I even looked up to see if anybody had announced like any digital E3 events or
Yeah.
digital like play
Still
event.
nothing.
Nothing. There's
No, they
been
really aren't on top
nothing.
of that.
Stuff happens in June, so I'm expecting probably in a couple of weeks we'll start hearing some more things. All of this stuff was set to happen in June. All of these companies probably had a game plan for E3, but now there's no E3, so now it's just like a matter of
What
replanning
are
what
they
they're
gonna
going to
do?
do.
Yeah.
So there's nothing new, so we're going to dive into a little bit about the news of BioWare and
Woo!
Dragon Age
Woo!
and Mass Effect a little bit. We're going to touch on that because you know the world will also someday know that I am a big Dragon Age and Mass Effect fan.
Me too. Well,
I
Mass Effect, Dragon Age, I haven't dabbled in, but I understand
oh,
it.
you've got to play it. I am gonna like disclaimer this. I'm gonna try to keep it as spoiler free as possible because there's a couple of new things that came out, like new extra media that came out / finished recently that I'm gonna touch on, but I'm not gonna like get into spoilers about it. Anybody who's listening doesn't have to worry about Winter Nights and Blue Wraith. On the flip side, though, like if I'm talking about Dragon Age Inquisition, there's going to be spoilers because, guys, that game is 6 years old. If you haven't played it yet,
It's your fault. It is 100% your fault at that point.
yeah, really. Anyway, so I guess the first bullet point is that Blue Wraith, which was so Dark Horse does comics for the Dragon Age series, and the most recent comic was called Blue Wraith, and there was like 3 parts to it, and it just finished up, but it ended on a cliffhanger. It was really enjoyable, and I had a good time of it, but it also kind of makes me like, now I'm ready for the next thing. Nuncio De Philippis, Kristen Weir are both the lead writers on the Dragon Age Dark Horse comics, and they are hopeful for more comics in the foreseeable future. De Philippis tweeted out, "Wish I could tell you more, but there are more announcements.
Good.
Wish I could tell you more, but until there are more announcements, all Weir and I can say is that we definitely wrote this with more stories in mind." The two also appeared in episode 653 of Deconstructing Comics Podcast and talked about the direction they planned and are wanting to take the entire comic series. You can go listen to that if you want to. I'll try to get a link to you before we post it, so that you can put it in the description. It's a pretty good listen, and they touch on other fun things like the new X-Men, which I don't get super into like superhero movies. It was interesting to listen to. The one big thing that I will say about what they talked about in the podcast episode was Dave Philippus mentioned that the comics are not intended to be prologues or springboards into the new Dragon Age game. They're just kind of a way to keep people engaged into the world of Thetis. So if you're looking for giant lore drops or secrets about the next game tucked in the comics, you're looking in the wrong place. You're probably not going to find anything. So just read it and enjoy it for what it is. But don't go looking for anything juicy.
It's not gonna be there.
Yeah, basically. As a side piece of information, the voice actor for Fenris, well, I should back up. The Blue Wraith comics are kind of centered around Fenris, who is a character in the second Dragon Age game, and who is also my favorite broody elf. Gideon Emery is his voice actor, and he caught wind of the comics and voiced over a little piece, which I should probably find for you because it is.
I would love to hear that.
Oh, listen. You know how I love Matthew Mercer?
Who doesn't love Matthew Mercer?
Thank you.
He's
Gideon
so
Emery's
good.
Gideon Emery's voice is the exact same way. I'm gonna look up the clip for you because it's just so good.
Please do.
Gideon Emery did a little voiceover of like a small little bit of the comics, and it was a good little bit. So pure, so good. The other big thing that dropped was the new book called To Winter Nights. It's different than the other books because this one's like an anthological kind of collection of short stories, whereas most of the other books are just like standalone outside of the main story plot books.
Mm-hmm.
Because of that, it's not quite this standalone. Like, you really have to have had at least played Dragon Age Inquisition to kind of understand what's going on. And I have a sneaking suspicion that if you don't read Dragon Age To Winter Nights, you're not going to know what the heck's going on in Dragon Age 4. So I suggest that if you're going to play Dragon Age, you read it, because all the other books you could read them without playing the games. It would probably make more sense if you did, but you have to play at least Dragon Age Inquisition in order to know what's going on in To Winter Nights. It's a lot. It's very good. It's a very good book. It's probably my favorite of the Dragon Age extra media books.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really good. Anyway, so moving on from that, on March 23rd, Bioware announced that they would be releasing a quote-unquote Bioware Stories and Secrets from 25 Years of Game Development, set to launch on the 13th of October for $39.99 USD. And you better believe that is currently on my Amazon wish list. I'm really excited about it. It looks so beautiful. Like, when you look up on Amazon Bioware Stories and Secrets, it's a hardcover book, looks like, with a beautiful, sleek black cover. I'm really excited about it. And that's like right before
You're gonna
Christmas.
have to send me pictures.
Oh yeah, I'll send you a screenshot after we're done here. It's like right before Christmas too, so I'm hoping that somebody sees that and sends it to me for Christmas. And my birthday is almost right after Christmas, so there's still time. Also on the same day, on March 23rd, they announced that the first 5 graphic novels? Novels? Let me try that again. The first 5 graphic novels, so Dragon Age, The Silent Grove, Those Who Speak, Until We Sleep, Mage Killer, and Knight Errant, if I remember those in order, they would be put into one big collection and released on the 27th of October for $29.99 USD. And you can also catch that on my Amazon wish list. I do find it weird that like the 2 most recent comics, Deception and Blue Wraith, are not in those. So I can only like kind of hope / suspect that Weir and DeFilippis were saying, or they were trying to move forward with those stories. Because why would you not include them unless there was going to be more to those stories? I guess we'll just have to wait and see, but I'm excited to have those. I'm excited to have all those kind of like in one place, because the Dark Horse comics, I don't know if you've ever like seen art for them.
I've seen a little bit.
They're beautiful. I mean, like, they're just so visually pleasing, even if you're not a fan of the story. Like, it's just so fun to like look at because the art is just gorgeous. So I'm really excited to have like one big collection of all the Dragon Age comics, of almost all the Dragon Age comics. We're gonna go back to the coronavirus for a second.
That's okay. Part of life at this point.
I know. Literally, like one of my coworkers today was like, "This is just the new normal," as we're all sitting there like suffocating in our face masks. I was like, "No, don't tell me that." A couple weeks ago, EA made an announcement regarding the health and safety of their developers. The article basically says that EA has been closely monitoring the virus since January and continuously assessing the risk that it has posed. As of late February, EA implemented strict global travel restrictions and by mid March had been encouraging employees at their development teams to work from home as much as possible until April 1st. There hasn't been a big update on whether or not they're still having to work from home given like how bad this has escalated. In a tweet from Crystal McCord, who is the associate producer of performance capture and voiceover, she says, quote unquote, in our first week of quarantine, BioWare and EA exceeded all expectations. And then it goes on a little bit. So it's nice to hear that even working from home, they're still moving really strongly forward as far as
Good.
working on the new Dragon Age game, because I know
Well, I'm sure they
kind
want
of
to work on something too, you know?
well, yeah, and sitting on kind of like on the outskirts of the Bioware fandom, we're crazy and hungry and starved for like any new
You're like,
content.
please,
Yeah.
give me the good.
Like if BioWare was like, here's a blank book with one page in there that you have to find of a concept sketch, I would
Everyone's
probably
like, thank you, thank you,
yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. But in spite of all this, would you believe me if I told you that BioWare were actually hiring? Which has
What?
been I know it's a big topic of discussion. There are several roles, and I'll kind of list some of them: senior character artist, technical animator, technical artist, systems engineer, counter designer, level designer. I'm sorry, encounter designer, level designer, senior outsource producer. I mean, the list goes on and on and on for what they're hiring for.
That
But
sounds insane though, but that's great.
yeah. So what interests me though is there's a role for technical director for quote unquote the next major title in one of BioWare's most prestigious franchises. And what's so interesting about that to me is that Michael Gamble, who's the new project lead for the next Mass Effect game, actually tweeted out that job opportunity. So I have a sneaking suspicion that the technical director position is not going to be for Dragon Age, but for the next Mass Effect, which has me stoked. I'm trying not to be too excited because obviously there's been nothing official and this is all conjecture on my part.
But
At the same time, given who tweeted it and given that Dragon Age 4 is already well into development,
you're like, I hope, I hope, I hope, I hope, I hope.
yeah. There's a couple other small bits of news that I didn't really know like how to fit them in seamlessly, so I'll just kind of toss them in here at the end. BioWare is super known for having great characters and great story, and part of that is being notorious for its romanceable characters, which was kind of a letdown when Anthem came out and there were no romanceable characters. But in a tweet from Foundation Programming Area Director John Renish, he confirms basically that the trademark romances will be returning to Dragon Age 4. Per his tweets, they will be sweet and spicy, which is exactly what I'm here for in a Dragon Age game.
Wait, he said that?
His name is John Renish. He's the Foundation
He
Programming
said
Area
sweet and
Director.
spicy?
No, he originally said that he was doing like a script read through and it was a bit, he used the term randy, which is like a slang term in the UK for sexually arousing.
Gotcha.
And then in like a response to his own tweet, he was like, well, now it's all sad and mushy and I did not expect to go on this big roller coaster.
Gotcha.
So, which is like exactly what I'm expecting for in a romance from a BioWare game. So I'm excited about that. And the last little fun tidbit was a tweet from BioWare executive producer Mark Dara. While he was working from home, he posted a picture of like kitchen tiles that were on his table because he's having his house remodeled right now.
Okay.
And in the corner of the picture, you can see a laptop with a BioWare Slack server open on it.
Oh, interesting.
Do you know what a Slack server is?
Yeah, I use Slack for work.
Okay.
It's like
So,
Discord, but
yeah. So, I mean, there are other people in the Bioware fandom who are like super into microanalyzing like every picture the devs post. And if you're interested in looking at that, you can go check out Jackdaw Journalism because he's the one who I got this little bit from. There is a couple of things, like if you look at it, you can see like MOR underscore, and MOR is probably short for Morrison because that's the project title that DA4 is working under.
Oh.
Yeah, so there's things like MOR underscore announcement, MOR underscore DA week, MOR ask Mark
Wow, they did not
anything.
name this well.
Yeah, so I think Mark Dara has been known to do sneaky little things like that before, where he's like, "Oh, look at this thing that is totally irrelevant, but also in the corner, if you're looking hard enough, here's this Dragon Age secret."
That's so weird, though.
Yeah, well, I just thought that that was an interesting little tidbit. I don't know if MOR underscore announcement refers to the announcement they did at E3 in 2018, which was the big Dreadwolf Rises, or if maybe they're coming up on doing another big announcement. I'm hoping that they're coming up on doing another big announcement, but most people are saying that like the next Dragon Age isn't going to be here until 2022.
We'll see. I mean, that's it is a while,
Yeah, I
from
guess
now.
so.
That's fucking 2 hours from 2 years.
Yeah,
2 years from now.
2 hours.
2 hours. 2 whole
Yeah,
hours.
so I can only hope that perhaps it will be sooner than that. But at the same time, given the whole Jason Schreier article on how like BioWare handled Anthem and how the last Mass Effect game turned out, there's a piece of me that's like, give me now, and there's a piece of me that's like, take your time
Please
and
take
make it
your
a good
time.
game
Yeah,
because
exactly.
like yeah, yeah. It's like three strikes and you're out kind of deal with, Andromeda and then Anthem.
We'll see.
Don't mess up my Dragon Age.
Don't mess it up. Don't mess
But I
it up.
have a feeling, well, I feel the same way about Andromeda that I did about Dragon Age 2. And like, at first, I was like, wow, this sucks. But like, the further I get from it, the more I come to appreciate it for what it is. And I think a part of like Andromeda's problem was that it was not part of the original trilogy, and people really wanted their Shepherd back. They really wanted Garrus and all of the other like
Yeah.
lovable characters, and that was not there. And so I think part of it is it was a game with Mass Effect's name, but not a Mass Effect feel. And so I think that was part. That certainly wasn't the whole problem because there were other like major problems, but I think that was part of Andromeda's problem. So the further removed we get from that, the more I have come to appreciate and enjoy Andromeda. But that's a whole conversation we can get to in another time. So that's what I wanted to talk about this week because everybody's sick of talking about the coronavirus, and
Yeah.
I thought
We
it
have
would
to
be
talk
fun to
about
talk
something
about
else that's not
BioWare.
sad.
Yeah, yeah. So I thought it would be fun to talk about BioWare because I enjoy BioWare. I
Why
like the
not?
work that they do. Yep. And this is our podcast. I can do what I want.
It's literally exactly that. Just fuck you if you don't like it. You don't have to
Yeah,
listen.
basically. And of course, like if something major comes up, I'll either do like a quick blurb that you can toss into the most recent episode that we post, or
Yeah.
I'll definitely talk about it in depth. But
But for now, this is
yeah, for now, this is what we've got.
But thank you for
You
listening
can
to us and
you
in your
can find us
quarantine.
on Twitter and Instagram and maybe Facebook at Ghoul Gaming Gals. I still haven't done the Facebook, but that's partly because I don't have my own Facebook.
It's
So
okay. We still have our email too, so if you
yeah, and you can email us at ghoulgaminggals@gmail.com.
and if you have questions or suggestions for anything, please email us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you
But
just want to talk because
or
we're
that too.
small and I'm checking the email daily.
Yeah.
It
So if
goes
you
to
have
my phone.
anything, please email us, say hi. Thank you for listening to us jabber back and forth and
And thank you for podcasting with me, Janelle.
you're welcome. Thank you for podcasting with me.
Yes.
Please stay socially distanced. Love
Yes,
your
please.
friends from afar, love your family from afar, and we'll take it one day at a time. And hopefully, this makes it a little bit easier for you to do that. But
Yay.
goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.